Hey, what's up, you guys? Dylan Distorted back again. You asked for it, so here it is, r/NuclearRevenge. EK tries to get me arrested. Enjoy your own criminal record. This is a re-upload of my story. It was deleted because the link of the fire glove wasn't a historical link. If you want to see it, then just search the story up on ProRevenge. Anyways, enjoy. Background info. This happened back when I was in sophomore year and was a bit of a nerd, but in a weird phase where I was actually starting to get some confidence. I spent the last 2 years thinking about launching an online business, back when Shopify wasn't as popular and prominent, and finally started to keep on track. So I spent several weeks going to wholesale websites, gathering products, designing the website, etc. Once it launches, I decide to start small and only use my school district as the target audience. Of course, there is mistrust with this system because no one takes a high school kid with an Amazon-esque website seriously. But after a while and some small purchases, I had a decent customer base with around 10 to 25 orders per week. This was first when the school found out about it, and the AP, assistant principal, person designated to watch our specific graduation class for all 4 years we were there, calls me down to the office and basically lectures me on the importance of the legality and on how I need to change the name of the website. Basically, I named it after the school, which was named after a well-known politician's family, and they didn't want legal issues. I did a lot of homework involving this and legally checked everything, especially since I was a minor and I didn't want to cause any issues for my own fam. I didn't care that much. I'd been meaning to reboot the site and make it more lighter and modern anyways. I changed the name and moved on. Issues began. Now, EK was a highly manipulative kid. He was one of those unlikable bratty people who made up stories to attract girls and popularity. He always bragged he was going to be rich because of how rich his parents were. Girls would be obsessed with him. He was going to be in movies. Basically all sorts of delusional claims. I started out being uneasy friends with him, meaning I just talked to him in class, but I slowly drifted away from him because he would constantly flirt and harass these two girls, even though they told him not to and I tried to stop him. Most of our entire grade didn't like this kid, but then he claims he owned the website and ran it, and if anybody knows marketing, an unsavory person with ownership is really bad for business. So I confront him and he apologizes, saying he'll retract his claims and say the truth. The next day, he did the exact opposite and spread rumors of how the situation happened in the opposite manner. This angered me and he forced my hand. I went straight to the site and made a notification post and email to all my customers saying that, due to several circulating rumors about our business, we would like to remind our customers that EK does not own the website, nor is he connected with us in any shape or form. Thank you for your service. Please be sure to check out our Easter sale. Embarrassed, EK makes the most insane claim that I've ever heard. That I'm using the website to launder and sell drugs and weapons through school. Post-Columbine, this was taken very seriously, and I was called down to the office where I found my AP and 3 police officers waiting for me. They questioned me, the website, etc., while patting me down and searching my backpack, jacket, and belongings. They freaked out when they saw a condom and credit card knife. Yeah, it's my own damn fault for having a blade at school, but I was an EDC guy who never did anything wrong. Honestly, I wasn't as embarrassed as I was worried for the optics on this. They considered this plausible intent and cause, and I was handcuffed and put into a police cruiser. A pretty comfy Dodge Charger, to be honest, as they headed over to my house and called my mom, telling them the situation. They asked to let them search my room, and only my room, and my mom obliges. With us being immigrants, she didn't want any trouble, and she probably couldn't think straight from seeing her son in handcuffs. It angered me for a cop to hold me against the wall while I'm restrained, while 2 more turned my room upside down looking for something that didn't exist, while my mother cried her eyes out at all this happening. They didn't find anything of interest except this out-of-school project I was working on, Jay Laser's videos, fire gloves. Search it up. I had 3 of them and parts for at least 3 more. The officer asked me what it was and how it worked. I told them the basics and it was for a science fair. They took them in as evidence and questioned the legality of the gloves while taking pictures along with a single canister of butane fuel. I got suspension for 3.5 days. The rest of my school was in-school suspension, aka isolation, but no criminal charges since there was no evidence. Well, no shit. I checked the office's sign-in sheet. Whenever we talk to an AP, they keep a record of the time, name, and date of when someone comes in. As I signed out too, I see 1 name before my own. EKPs. My anger doubles as all I can think of is ways to kill him, but I calm myself saying that his time will come. The next 3 days allowed me to plan for my revenge. Revenge time. 1. One of my friends had a recording of how EK said he wanted to push a girl off a balcony at a party they were both at because she rejected him. Maybe somehow that recording was emailed to the police department, teachers, and several students through a throwaway email. 2. I recorded him stalking this girl from school and all the way to her house and peeking in through her window. This didn't happen once, twice, but 4 times. This was edited almost like a montage and emailed as well. 3. Once every 5 weeks, the school brought in drug dogs. I saw a canine police car in the parking lot and quickly texted my friend that was a pothead. I told him to bring a weed brownie and put it in EK's bag during second period, which was at the other side of the school so he wouldn't get caught. This went swimmingly as hallway banter was filled with EK being caught with drugs in school. End result? EK was expelled, had a restraining order filed on him by the girl along with 2 others who came forward, and had court case the next month. The second girl had a boyfriend who was a classmate of mine, and I let him know what he was doing. Somehow the guy found out where he lived, and him and his friends keyed his car, slashed his tires, stole his shoes, and jumped him. He was found guilty for possession of marijuana. I don't know the real charge, but the state I live in is very strict with weed. This resulted in several months of juvenile detention, where he was beat up even more. Where is he now? I don't know, but I doubt he succeeded like how he bragged he would. I spent the rest of the year in a very peaceful mindset. This is amazing. This guy's like a puppet master pulling the strings of all these people to get back at this kid.
Dance, my pretties.
Usually with Nuclear Revenge, I think that the person goes a little bit too far. That's usually the trend that I see on this subreddit. But this one is just so perfect because I feel like he didn't really go overboard with it. He just gave the guy back his medicine. The kid made false claims towards him, so he planted a brownie. So like I think that evens it out. Everything else was this kid's fault for stalking girls, saying he wants to push a girl off a balcony. 10 out of 10, would bang. Steal my sale? Consider your life ruined. Sorry for the format, on a phone, and was talking with a coworker about this before I went on break, so I thought I'd post it. You see, I used to work for a large retail company that sells electronics. We'll call them Shmurry Electronics. Sure. And seriously, if you work for them, I'm sorry, and I recommend you find a new job that will actually get you somewhere in life. Anyway, if you don't know how it works at Shmurry's, if you are a salesperson, more specifically in the audio/video department, you're paid one of 2 ways. You are either paid in commission, so long as your sales equal enough to make it to minimum wage pay rates, or if you cannot make enough sales to reach minimum wage rates, you are cushioned by being paid minimum wage exactly. To explain a little nicer, say minimum wage is $300 for 1 week of work, but I ended up making $600 in sales. Well, that's fine and well, I'd get paid $600. But then say the next week I didn't make that much, and only did $250 in sales. Well, they just paid me $300 instead. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, that seems nice. What's the problem? Oh. The problem was, or at least in my case, back in the day when I used to work for them, if your sales didn't get up above minimum wage for 3 weeks in a row, you were immediately terminated. This means slow months where there were no holidays or big doorbuster sales were a teeth grinder. You would be checking your sales report every 5 minutes to make sure you at least had a penny over what you needed to be safe for the next few weeks. I was generally alright with my sales, but the management in this place, or at the very least, the supervisors, were big fucking assholes. They were also paid differently. The supervisor was paid an hourly wage, well above the minimum, mind you, and they had commission stacked with their hourly wage. So as you can expect, there were a lot of sales snipers, and stolen sales by our supervisors. A sales sniper is what my coworkers and I called it when a supervisor would target and lock on anyone who was dressed a little bit nicer and rush over to them as fast as possible to try and force them into a sale. Now that we're caught up, this is where my story starts. I had a supervisor who was in all ways the worst human being in the history of ever. Okay, there was Stalin and Hitler, but he's maybe top 10 then. Anyway, to give context on the kind of emotional and mental trauma he gave me, one day I come into work on Veterans Day, and my grandfather was in the 8th Air Force Division in World War II. In honor of him, I had one of his 8th Air Force Division ties, since he passed away about 10 years ago prior to these events. Admittedly, it was a little small on me, but I still thought it made me look clean and respectable. Other veterans who come to our store was complimenting it and congratulating? Who the fuck spells it like that? Congratulating me for my grandpa's service. But then, my supervisor sees it. We'll call him D.
Yo, what's up with your tie?
Oh, it was my grandfather's. He was an airline combat gunner in the 8th Division Air Force during World War II.
Jeez, I'd feel sorry for anyone who saw him wearing that thing. It looks ridiculous. If I had a kid, I wouldn't let him wear it.
I felt my face grow red and I glared at him with the most hateful glare I'd ever given anyone. I simply said, "You are one of the most disgusting persons I have ever met," and I walked off to do something mindless to get my mind clear. In any case, the story is about a sale I made with a gentleman who was such a cool guy. We just finalized a sale for his new 75-inch 4K TV, which included the whole works. TV insurance, all the best cables, installation wall mounts, a full sound system. In other words, commission out the ass. I get all my paperwork finished up and put the papers with all his stuff so when the delivery team takes it out the following day, I get credited for the sale. The sale would have made me $500 in commission alone. It was a huge deal for me. I had the following day off, so I was ready to relax and enjoy my hard-earned pay. The day that I returned to work, I go to check my sales report, and I see that my sale was not posted in there. My eyes widen and almost immediately panic. I rush up to the sales office and ask them to search the record for any sales with large TV, wall mount, etc., etc. They find it, and they saw it was under D's name. I was furious. I bit my fist and screamed at the top of my lungs in rage. I went into the store manager's office and screamed in rage how I wanted this fixed and wanted my sale back. She told me how payroll was already completed for the week and all sales have been finalized, so it would be impossible for me to get the commission. I stared daggers into her, and I knew it wasn't her fault. I stopped my way back down to the department, and I handed my name badge and my walkie-talkie to D, and I stared him in the eyes and said, "You will burn in hell for this," and turned to walk out, quitting that fucked up job. A few years pass, and I'm now an auditor for a credit company. I shuffle through some clients' papers to see who I need to review the accounts of, and I find D's name on one of the papers. My eyes widen and I grinned. Not just a normal grin, but the kind of grin the Grinch gave when he devised a disgustingly horrible plan. I looked through his file and saw that he had filed for a mortgage loan a month previously. It was a huge loan that equaled $350,000, and at the moment it was pre-approved, but pending final review since it was such a large amount. I smiled as I looked into his file, and I remembered how often he boasted at work how his parents had basically paid for everything up until the point where he was 27. Sad, I know. Well, after I had finished looking through his estimated earnings, I noticed he failed to mention the part where his parents would be paying for him to live. Because of this, all the things that he listed under his name for financial collateral, his car, his inflated bank account, his credit score that was shot through the roof due to his parents paying all his bills and credit cards, basically anything he could list that could make him look financially stable. After this, I marked all those items as invalid properties for client to submit, because lawfully, they were the property of his parents and not his. I submitted my report and a little bit later reviewed his files. His credit score went from an 800 to a 300, and his file marked him as basically penniless. His loan was resubmitted and denied, and now any loans or credits he tried to submit are now immediately flagged due to his failure to submit proper financial reports. This means that basically, he will never be approved for any credit cards, mortgage loans. Hell, even if he wanted an apartment, no landlord would ever approve someone with the new financial profile he had. I single-handedly ruined his chances of ever being able to live anywhere but with someone else as a roommate or on the street. For that reason, I wake up almost every morning with a large grin and a warm cup of coffee, knowing my world is at peace and balance is restored to the universe. Yo, no shit, something similar to this actually happened to me. I used to do door-to-door sales for this window company, and you basically had to learn a script and you had to go over it and try getting people to buy different types of windows from us because we had the best windows and blah blah blah, other sales rhetoric that they made me repeat. And the week that I quit the job, because they treated their employees so horribly, I had to sit through presentations from one of our main supervisors about how we should all vote for Donald Trump when the whole election was going on. Whatever side of the spectrum you fall onto, like it's really fucking annoying to be told who I should vote for by someone who's supposed to just be supervising our job. He had presentations on PowerPoint set up. Anyway, the week that I quit on a Thursday, and I had commission up until then. I told them when I was quitting, I had everything set up, but I quit on a Thursday. They scheduled me for that Friday. I told them there was a mistake because I was quitting on Thursday. They said okay, and they would fix it. Well, it turns out they did that on purpose, I'm pretty sure, because I didn't get any of my commission due to me not finishing out my last day, even though my last day was on that Thursday. But they said since I didn't finish out the time required, they didn't have to give me any of my commission. So I made my bare minimum amount, and then my supervisor, not the one that was doing the Donald Trump thing, but a different supervisor, took my whole commission check, which was a couple $1,000s, and I was so pissed. That led me into really bad financial state for a little while. So reading this, it makes me so happy to see that he got his revenge on these fucking pieces of shit. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of r/NuclearRevenge. I sure enjoyed making it. I think the next one's either going to be entitled parents or malicious compliance. You can let me know in the comments which one you would prefer to see. Comment of the day comes from Finlay Robertson. People really post these? Well, I'll be dipped in dog shit. And dipped in dog shit we shall be. Okay, like the video if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and peace out, good scout.